A few days ago, I was watching the music video for a song I like for the first time. And while watching the music video, I had two sort of evolving realizations. And maybe you've experienced this. The first was that while watching the music video, my appreciation for the song got way deeper. Like the visuals from the music video added a new dynamic to the song, and it just made me like it way more. And then that realization kind of evolved into this second realization, which was that I never realized, I never knew what the artist of the song looked like. I've listened to the song, I've listened to this artist's music for for like a year or two now. I never knew what he looked like. And now that I do, not only do I have a greater appreciation for the song, but now I have a greater appreciation for the artist behind the song. Because now I can transfer my fascination with the song to now representing a part of who the artist is. And then as I read the lyrics of the song, I get more of an appreciation for the artist. And then when I watch an interview of the artist giving his thoughts on things, just kind of sharing his history and his past, my appreciation goes up even more. And so there's a direct correlation there. It's connected. As my understanding of something goes up, my appreciation for that thing, anything, whatever it is, also goes up. Understanding, appreciation, they go hand in hand. From there, I started thinking about all the life experiences I've had that supports this connection between understanding of something and appreciation for something moving up together. Like all those times in my life where I thought I didn't like someone, even though I'd never met them, even though I didn't know them. You know what I mean? Then at some point, I organically meet them and have a reason to get to know them. And then I realize how much of a jackass I was for judging their entire being without ever having had the opportunity or making the effort to understand who they actually are. Then when I got to know them and understand them, it formed an appreciation for them, even if I found them to be immoral or I didn't like their opinions or their way of viewing things didn't line up with my experience of life. I still formed a deeper appreciation for who they are because now I can acknowledge them for who they are instead of who I assume them to be. And then on the flip side, if I already like or appreciate someone and I develop my understanding of them, my appreciation just goes up for them even more. It even applies to how we feel about past experiences. Like sometimes we have really tough and challenging times in our life, and in the moment, we don't see how we can ever come out of this feeling good about it. We don't see what value it's going to bring to our life. But then as time goes on, we look back on that thing and we realize, oh, we have context, we have perspective, and we can see how that small experience or that big experience played into the grander scope of our life, and maybe even find appreciation for it because you see how it led to you being who you are today. Your understanding of that situation developed an appreciation for that situation, even if it was bad. And just to be clear, I'm not saying appreciation in the sense of being glad that it happened, but appreciation in the sense that you've developed clarity in context for why it happened. And that might have a totally new meaning for you looking back on it 5 years in the past than it did in the moment. And that type of reflection can be a super freeing experience, even if it was a tough experience. The act of developing understanding of a situation is valuable in of itself, which is what you experience in therapy. People look back on traumatic experiences in their life, develop understanding of that, and then through that understanding, they're able to acknowledge and appreciate what was going on there. Sometimes, it helps them to no longer blame themselves for something that happened outside of them. Here's a good example. Ever since elementary school, all the way up to the present moment, I've from time to time get asked about my horoscope. And all my life, I found the question slightly irritating. I don't know why I found it irritating. The point is, as a result of those questions, I started to develop a negative association with horoscopes, which caused me to develop a negative association with any term or word that I associated with horoscopes, like cosmology. I didn't want to hear anything about it. I didn't have an appreciation for any of those things, and I didn't want to develop an appreciation for any of those things. And then over the years, I developed myself. I developed my maturity. I started learning about a lot of different things. And then looking back, I can see where this pattern of understanding and appreciation being in alignment affecting all parts of my life. The more I learned about something, the more I liked it, and my appreciation for those things grew. As understanding grows, so does appreciation. During that process, I eventually realized how uninformed I was, because the field of study related to horoscopes isn't cosmology, it's astronomy. More time passed and I learned more and I grew more as a person, and I realized the field of study related to horoscopes isn't astronomy, it's astrology. And those are two different fields of study, right? So clearly I was totally ignorant. I didn't have understanding about anything. And it affected the way I viewed multiple fields of study. Now that I've learned more, I've developed a better appreciation for horoscopes and cosmology and astronomy and astrology. And now I have what I'd like to consider an informed opinion instead of just a judgment based on what I think something's about. I've learned that although I find the belief behind astrology interesting, more so from a human behavior point of view, I find it interesting that so many people follow it and track it and have a belief in it. All that being said, I don't have a lot of confidence in its accuracy, and it's not something that I believe, which is clearly a lot more thoughtful of a view than in the past when I just thought it was dumb and uninteresting and I don't understand why people believe it, right? There's a big difference. On the other hand, I've developed a tremendous amount of interest in cosmology. I started reading a book called Our Mathematical Universe, and I'm learning a ton about the cosmos and where we fit in the universe and how the universe came about and just everything that there is to know about like what's out there. I could have missed out on the opportunity to explore my curiosity about cosmology if I didn't accidentally challenge my assumptions that I had about horoscopes originally. If there's ever a topic you hear someone talking about and you realize that you have thoughts about it, but there's no reliable source for those thoughts, it's just kind of a judgment you've made on it, then it probably means that you made an assumption about that topic or that thing or that person. And if you were just to develop more understanding of it, true understanding of that thing, your appreciation for it would develop and your perspective would do a complete 180. Going forward, I'm going to make a conscious effort to realize that anytime I notice myself lacking appreciation for something, it probably means that I'm lacking an understanding of that thing in some shape or form. If I just spend some time considering that thing, reading a book about that thing, learning about that thing, making an attempt to develop an interest for that thing, then it's almost guaranteed that my appreciation will go up for that thing. Even if you don't like that thing, even if that thing is a human being. Understanding feeds appreciation, and you don't have to like something to form an appreciation for that thing.